Hey there, this is Darren with day 28. I'm so excited because apparently after 21 days you create a habit. So I believe the habit is installed because I feel the guilt if I'm not moving forward. Okay, so 32 minutes today. I really want to get to the fact that I'm 2 or 3 days a week, I'm doing hours of progress because now so many ideas are flowing through. And this morning, what I did, part of those 32 minutes is when I went for my walk, I was listening to the Truby uh, audio program and got more ideas going and gelling and trying to figure out where to plot them in. And when I'm working with the new software of his, I'm not completely comfortable with it yet. So I'm finding myself kind of going back to old habits, doing some notes in Word document, and then at least I have them there and I can plug them into the software. But it's always a little fearful and nervous sometimes when you're working with new software because where's that going to go? And it's helpful, and maybe I need it, maybe I don't need it. I don't know. We'll find out in day 42 maybe. But anyway, when I was walking and listening to the audios this morning, one of the things that popped into my head, and I did this a few days ago, but revelations. And one of the revelations that came to me that was really crucial in my own personal belief, and I may have mentioned this before, but it was when I was at MIT and the student, foreign exchange student who could barely speak English, came up to me, and I was doing my practice speech at a Toastmasters at MIT, and she said that she was not doing well in school, and her family was telling her to quit and come home and do whatever for the family. And she heard the speech and she said, "No, I heard your speech. I stay." And that is when I really knew I was on the right path. That's when my own belief level went up. So that is a revelation. And early on, when I learned from Glenna Salisbury, great speaker, she said we should be talking about our revelation moments. So for you, if you're a speaker, those revelation moments are the same stories that we should be telling to pass on to others. In a film, what I'm learning is that revelation is actually part of the structure, and we build up to the revelation, and we build up to the revelation, and that is what helps build the character and heal the character wound. Also, what I spent part of the 32 minutes today doing was looking at my notes here, was building the characters and identifying what was the wound, what's their desire, and what are some of their character traits that help them stand out and be characters. So I'll just read over what my wound was, and I'm learning that I'm still afraid to open up completely, even though I'm pretty good at that. Um, some of my wounds, incredibly low self-esteem. I was definitely a mommy's boy, and my mom fought my battles for me because she overprotected me. I believe because she felt bad for me because I was born with a club foot. I even remember one day I was doing a newspaper route for one of my neighbors, and one of my neighbors on occasion would be a friend and on occasion would be a bully, and they were running after me to kind of beat me up. I'm running, getting out of there, and I ended up running into my house. But I had to get the paper route done at the same time, customers. So here's that conflict. Do I get away from the bully? Do I finish my route, my obligation? So what I actually did is I ran into the house, and my mom answered the door, and I actually ran out the back door and ran through the field and finished the paper route backwards. So kind of ingenious. I was kind of proud of myself. But I was still scared to death because I didn't know what would happen when I would come back around to my house again, if they would be there. So scary, but part of my character. Also, thinking funny equals being loved, or thinking by being funny that you are loved more. And there might be a little bit of truth to that, but I really thought, ooh, if I want to be loved, I have to be funny. And avoid conflict. That's still part of who I am. That's a wound, and I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Then desire. So I did this for each of the character. What's the wound? What's the desire? To make people laugh and earn a living at that. That was my desire. Also, my desire is to be loved and to have some kind of accomplishment. My sister was and is smart and summa cum laude, brilliant in school. My brother was the super jock, super athlete, and I was neither. Uh, so it's like I didn't feel like I was somebody. And then character traits. Now, I'm not sure how to use this, but I love kind of cool shoes, but I never really did anything with it back when I was young. But actually, you know what? I think I just discovered while I'm doing this where that came from. Why do I like funky shoes? Oh my! La! I know where that came from. If you know me, you know I kind of always wear kind of funky, cool shoes. And when I was born with a club foot. And if you're not familiar with that, it means like one foot is straight and the other one's twisted. So I had to have an operation to have it straightened. So I still have scars on my feet. Uh, but because of that, I had to wear the Forrest Gump braces, the leg braces, and I had to wear special shoes. I always remember I had to go to this place called Stride Right. And Stride Right is the only place you can buy two different size shoes. Because I had a cast on my foot the first days of my life, uh, the foot didn't grow. So first year and a half or so of my life, my foot didn't grow because it was in a cast healing. It couldn't grow. And then because of that, I had to buy these ugly, simple black shoes. And, I got teased at school and, kids are mean and you trying to stand out and be cool and you can't be cool if you're wearing the same black, simple shoes when everyone else is wearing cool Nikes and things like that. I just realized where my wound was and why I like funky shoes. Because I couldn't wear anything cool growing up. Wow, you were here for my own revelation about where that came from. So, and what I'm learning about storytelling is that part of my story is that you have to understand who you are and become who you are and stop trying to be someone else. And I was trying to become a comedian, but that's not really who I was. I really was an inspirational speaker that used humor. And so I'm wondering if with the character, and we'll find out if this becomes part of the story or not, but likes funky shoes. And then when I start to become me, I start wearing funky shoes. So I'm afraid to wear them or don't want to stand out too much, but then I become me. So that could be part of the symbolization, which didn't really happen until much after the championship and much after the story. But as I'm learning, sometimes you have to make little creative adjustments in the timeline to make the story dramatic. So there you go. So you were here for a revelation about revelations and the characters. Also, one of the character traits that I wrote down too is I was very likable. I was a good guy. Everybody liked me. I was the nice guy, which, no women wanted to go out with, but he's the nice guy. He's the friend. Anyway, so I'm going to add to all of these. I have Vinny Favorito as a character, though I may or may not use his real name. I'll be deciding that later on. Dave Fitzgerald, a character. I'm going to actually contact his family, see how they feel about that. My mom and dad, my buddy Bob, one of my high school buddies, Mark Brown, of course, and then my buddy Jim Boland, who first gave me that motivational tape, and Brian Tracy, who was on that motivational tape. So a little bit more about the characters, their wound, their desire, and their character traits. And what I learned too is that by taking the time to get clear on this later, it will help make and write a better story. So if you've learned from Craig Valentine or been to any of our storytelling workshops, Craig says you have to have the mess with age to get the message. I am in the middle of a mess. I'm just starting to add the water in the mud to make a big mess. I want to say a long way to go, but I'm just excited about making progress. I don't want to put that thing and push it out there with an affirmation that it's a long way. Who knows? Maybe we could speed it up and write it quickly. Anyway, I hope this has inspired you. I am 32 minutes closer to my goal. How about you? No, that's just at 9:43. Going back. Oops. Going back. 32 minutes closer to my goal. How about you? What did you do today? What can you do today? Maybe it's just an email. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's reading a little bit. Maybe it's rereading or re-listening to an audio, which is what I did this morning that spurred all of these ideas. So, you are the CEO of your dream. Now back to my regularly long list of emails to answer. See you tomorrow. Stage time. Hey.